the most humiliating backfire for MAGA in all of 2025. So Happy New Year, folks. We're going out on a good note. As I'm sure you've seen by now, the new Republican fixation is this claim of alleged fraud taking place at daycare centers in Minnesota that are run by Somali immigrants. It really sounds like they had a hat of buzzwords and just started pulling out random words, and they created a theory. That's where we are in American politics, but I digress. It all originated from this new MAGA grifter named Nick Shirley, who posted a 42-minute video of him and his team going around to different daycare centers in Minnesota, harassing people, and he claims he uncovered $110 million worth of fraud in one day. That's his claim, and he provided little to no evidence for the claim. It's gone incredibly viral. 132, more like 133 million people have seen it on Twitter alone. It's been reposted by people like JD Vance and Elon Musk, unsurprisingly. But the problem is for Nick Shirley and MAGA is that this is now getting fact-checked. He was confronted by CNN. He sounded like a total idiot during the interview. We'll watch that in just a moment. And there was a report done on one of the daycare centers that he went to, which completely debunked everything he said. So this huge MAGA claim, which is very obviously an attempt to distract from the Epstein files, is coming crumbling down. We're going to get into all of that and more. Before I do that, make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story, and let's get into it. So for some context on this Nick Shirley guy, according to Reuters, the guy behind this Minnesota daycare fraud video once paid Hispanic day laborers he recruited at Home Depot $20 to hold pro-Biden signs in front of the White House when Biden was in office to gin up fears of an invasion. And these are just some of the images. This is that guy. He has posted racist, anti-Muslim content before. He does stuff like this, which is incredibly political. He's trying to create fear of immigrants and things like that. And this is the guy that MAGA is relying on for this huge investigation. So just for some context, but let's get into the investigation part, shall we? This was done by WCCO. It is an affiliate of CBS News in Minnesota. And listen to what they had to say about one of the daycare centers that Nick Shirley investigated. Watch.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan gave WCCO a tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight.
All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center.
In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service. He says ABC Learning Center is one of them, knocking on the door in mid-December.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later. Tuesday afternoon, WCCO found at least a dozen children at ABC Learning Center, which is licensed with the state. Records show Minnesota officials last visited the daycare in November, noting some corrected and ongoing violations related to day-to-day operations, but no record of fraud.
What did I do? I'm just a typical human being who wants to live and do the right thing. I have kids to feed.
Umi Hassan, the daycare's current owner, believes these latest fraud accusations are political. Both she and Hassan are Somali Americans.
We pay our taxes. We do whatever we can to be a law-abiding citizen. At the same time, when one Somali does something wrong, we all get collective punishment.
With Shirley's video now approaching 2.3 million views on YouTube alone, they say they are getting non-stop phone calls harassing them.
I was looking for a place for my granddaughter.
With many of those calls attached to out-of-state phone numbers.
They normally say, knock, knock, we're gonna come. You're gonna arrest, something like that.
Hassan says they turned over attendance records to comply with the Department of Homeland Security request. They're now waiting to hear back. CBS News is reviewing records related to the same daycares. All but 2 have active licenses. And Aaron, while the active places have violations related to safety or staff training, there's no recorded evidence.
There's no recorded evidence of fraud. It got cut off at the end there. There's no recorded evidence of fraud. So all these daycare centers that this guy was investigating, the overwhelming majority of them are closed. The other two have no current allegations of fraud against them. And he's confused why these child care centers where children are not letting in a bunch of men with cameras. And he thinks that because of that, there's fraud being committed. And at this daycare center, the ABC one, they have attendance records, they have children showing up. They had people in November coming to review the facility, and there was allegations of wrongdoing in terms of safety measures. Certainly not fraud, though. Those are two different things. I don't know if MAGA understands that, but this completely debunks a lot of the reporting. Now, let's get into this interview that Nick Shirley had with Anderson Cooper's show at CNN. He was confronted in person by them, and just listen to him. He sounds like an idiot while he's trying to talk about these explosive allegations that he's making.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley back at a daycare in Minnesota he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There
daycare.
should be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal
Oh my, I mean, it is so, I cannot believe that this is the guy that MAGA is relying on for this huge fraud investigation, so much so that they're sending FBI agents to Minnesota, and they're now going business to business talking to people. This guy who didn't even think that maybe the daycare center is, number one, not open when I went, and number two, if they are open, the door is locked. We live in a country full of bad people, sometimes, some bad people out there who might bring a weapon to a child daycare center and do something bad. We have, I mean, does he not think about these possibilities? I mean, this is insane. How many stories have we seen of somebody walking up with a firearm to a sensitive location and taking the lives of people? Of course the doors should be locked. What is he talking about? It's insane.
Law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud.
This is insane. I mean, let's be clear here. All fraud is bad. If somebody's committing fraud, they should be prosecuted and held accountable. That's why we didn't vote for Donald Trump. Us Democrats didn't vote for Donald Trump, one of the most prolific fraudsters in American history. But if you're committing fraud, you should be held accountable. There has been a fraud issue in Minnesota, like there has been fraud issues in different states all around the country, and that should be prosecuted. Joe Biden prosecuted one of the largest fraud cases in Minnesota, 47 people indicted, and many of them were prosecuted. There are still cases working their way through the system right now. But this is insane. They're relying on this one guy who's making unsubstantiated claims with no evidence, can't even provide it to the CNN journalist, and they're relying on that for their investigation. We live in a crazy country, but it's backfiring on them right now. I will leave the video there. It's just, So crazy. Make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story. Let me know what you think about this chaos. I'm genuinely curious. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.